alright?
Not bad, how are you?
How's it going? What are you up to?
Just, as you see, just taking some pictures of your cars and out there.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Yeah. And you are, sorry?
Police officer.
And your collar number?
Are you an auditor, or are you?
And your collar number, please?
I have to give you my collar number. My identification is on my shoulder there.
And then if I can't read, it's not your policy to identify for members of the public?
I don't need to.
No, it's not identified, no.
Okay. Are you here to just cause issues, or are you here to just
No, I'm just here to take pictures and that's all. As I said, I've just noticed as I was walking down to take pictures, your colleague's window was open, I could see the screen, made them aware of it.
Okay, have they sorted that?
Yeah, they closed the window,
okay.
Fine. Yeah, it's as simple as that.
Cool. Okay, I'm sure we're not here to cause you a problem. I'm sure you're not here to cause a problem. We're just,
you know, your colleagues not in uniform refuse to identify while engaging in a policing activity. Not fantastic, is it? It's against policy. You are required to identify. You're engaging in a stop and account. You are required to identify. Because if I have any complaints, how am I supposed to make that complaint if you haven't kept yourself to the accountability standards that the force requires? So, you know, again, you refuse to identify properly because, again, you don't know that I can read, so you're refusing to identify properly. Yes, you're in uniform, but again, if I want to make a complaint against you...
You can give the time and date and where the location where you are. My body cam's recording, so...
Oh, is it?
It can all be...
Welcome back, everyone, because what you're about to witness is not just a casual interaction in a police car park. It's a masterclass in how accountability either strengthens public trust or completely destroys it. This footage, originally captured by the YouTube channel Power to the Proletariat, drops us straight into a lawful citizen audit. And from the very first exchange, you can feel the tension simmering beneath the surface. On one side, a member of the public calmly exercising his legal right to film. On the other, officers who should be fully trained in transparency, procedure, and de-escalation.
At the first, most practical opportunity to allow that.
Was the most practical time to inform
was it?
You.
So, because you come in and gone hands-on with me?
I haven't gone hands-on.
Exactly, so why is not the first thing that you say, good afternoon or morning?
What you're doing, because that's the first question I asked you, and then we've had a conversation, and now I've told you.
Yeah, but the first most practical opportunity is to say, good, by the way, you are being recorded.
Okay.
Otherwise, you could be covertly recording me under the Regulations of Investigatory Powers Act, couldn't you?
But that's not happening, so don't worry about that.
It could, because it took you X amount of time to alert me when there was plenty. The only situation where it's not practicable at the first opportunity is if you're going into a hands-on situation. Any other time, there's no reason, and this has been dealt with in the tribunal by the tribunal that deals with the REAPER Act, that the first most practical opportunity is when you approach somebody. If you have your camera on or you turn it on, if you approach with your camera on, you should alert them when you approach, unless you're going hands-on. If you turn it on whilst engaging in a conversation, you should turn it on, and then once it's recording, so it's stated on the camera, by the way, you are being recorded for my safety and your safety, blah, blah, blah. You have the right to do it, same way that I have the right to do it. It's not a problem, it's the notification that's the problem.
Okay.
You know?
But I've notified you at a time that I think is practical, so I've done that, so it's fine.
Okay, you can justify that to a tribunal, it's fine, no worries.
So what are you
so you're going to try to identify yourself properly yet?
No, I'm happy.
You're happy, yeah?
Yeah.
Would you like to identify yourself, or would you like a complaint as well, sir?
So can I ask you a question? Before my colleague steps in, so my name is PC2.
This is where the encounter starts to derail. Not because of aggression, not because of threat, but because of something incredibly basic: identification. The auditor isn't being confrontational here. He's invoking a fundamental safeguard baked into police policy for a reason. Collar numbers aren't optional, decorative accessories. They're the backbone of accountability. The officer's insistence that pointing to his shoulder is sufficient completely misses the point. Policies exist precisely because not everyone can read, see clearly, or interpret visual cues under pressure. And instead of recognizing that, we see deflection, defensiveness, and a troubling reluctance to comply.
I was obviously made aware that the window was open. And he's got concerns because of data protection and that you might have recorded something on your phone from the screens.
If there is anything, I'm not sure if there is or not. If anything is captured on there, that will be evidence for me to report that to the Information Commissioner's office, because obviously the onus of data protection is on the organisation, not on whoever sees that information.
You don't expect someone to stick their head through the window.
I didn't stick my head through. I didn't stick my head through a window. I saw it from a public place.
Somebody else's information. This is a secure site. Well,
I understand that.
not as secure as we'd like.
Well, no,
it to
exactly.
be.
It's not secure at all, is it? Really?
No. We are trying to work on that, but unfortunately, you know, you have to do with what you've got.
Even a bit of signage saying no unauthorised access beyond this point would go a long way, because I do respect signs like that.
No,
you know.
okay. I will take
But I did
that
have
to
a look
the
around,
senior-
and there is
I
nothing
will
there.
genuinely take that to the senior leadership team, because I think that is fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are trying to redo everything. Yeah, you know, financially, we have to wait until the budget.
That's why it's quite a small town, isn't it? Lower priority.
You know
I get it. Yeah.
We get shoved right to the bottom type of thing. We're right on the borders, you know, between different forces and that. So it is totally. I understand where you're coming from, and I'll pass it on to the senior leadership team.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I've just got concerns about the data protection that's on that video. Because that's somebody else's private stuff and that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we obviously learn from things like that. So you've pointed it out. They've closed the window. It is really hot in there.
This exchange highlights a critical misunderstanding, or worse, a misrepresentation of body-worn camera policy. The auditor articulates the guidance clearly and accurately. Notification should occur at the first practical opportunity, unless safety demands otherwise. This is not a gray area. It has been litigated, clarified, and reinforced precisely to prevent covert recording concerns and maintain public confidence. What's concerning is not that the officer forgot. Mistakes happen, but that instead of acknowledging it, he doubles down. The refusal to concede, even a minor procedural error, turns a simple correction into confrontation.
Various locations where health and safety data protection takes priority over that.
Does that go live? Is that a live?
It's not. I'm not live streaming. No.
If there is something, would you delete that?
Not necessarily delete it, but I would make it anonymous. I would blur it out if there is anything, if I were to post it anywhere.
Yeah, but
absolutely.
It's not their fault. You know what I mean?
No, of course. I've raised the issue. I've raised the issue of data protection, and obviously I raise it as an issue because I do see it as an issue. I'm not going to go share that information. That would be very hypocritical of me, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
So if there is anything captured on the camera, it won't be made available to the public. It will be forwarded to the ICO.
That's fine. Yeah. Can I take your details?
No, I'm okay.
Can I take your name?
No, I'm alright.
Just first name, so I know who I'm speaking to.
No, I'm alright. Thank you.
So you've got my collar number, but I can't take yours.
Yeah, but as a Crown servant, obviously you have issues of accountability when dealing with members of the public, and that's why. Yeah, I know.
Your first name.
I know.
I don't even know anything
but then
else,
obviously that coupled with my image, which obviously he's notified me he's recording.
Obviously we do that because I'm open and honest. You know what I mean? Yeah. We record things so that you can see what we do. And we can
absolutely.
See,
I completely agree with the use of body cameras. Completely.
That's the thing is I can't hide saying, oh no, I didn't say this to this man, or this man didn't say anything.
No, exactly the same reason why I record any interaction I have with you as well.
Yeah, that's why we record everything. I have to protect my back. With the amount of people have said we do things. Of course, we don't. You know,
but with your collar number and that, obviously you're bound. You have to identify. You did it correctly verbally because you can't guarantee that I can read.
You know what I mean?
But you have to wear that for accountability reasons. That's why I'm entitled to have that, because you're dealing with a member of the public in a stop and account situation. Accountability, you have.
And just like that, the entire atmosphere changes. The arrival of the female officer demonstrates how professionalism can instantly de-escalate tension. No argument, no hesitation, no ego. She's asked to identify herself, and she simply does it, clearly and verbally, exactly as policy intends. This moment is incredibly important because it removes all ambiguity. The issue was never about harassment or provocation. It was about accountability. Her conduct proves that following procedure isn't difficult, confrontational, or time-consuming. In fact, it builds trust almost immediately. The contrast is stark and unavoidable.
Which he doesn't seem to understand. Sorry, we got interrupted. Would you like the opportunity to identify?
4988 PC Biffin.
Sorry,
PC Biffin.
And your collar number, please?
4988.
4988. There you go. Thank you. Would you like another opportunity?
No, I'm fine.
No, you're fine. Okay, so you're just going to be an absolute idiot about it.
I'm not going to.
I mean, you are.
He's got other jobs and that, and you know we have to rely.
Yes,
on
but
that.
you have a collar number for the specific reason, as we've just heard us discuss, for accountability reasons. You're making a very large assumption that I have the ability to read that my eyesight is good enough to read that.
These two officers are identified, and if you do need my details, they can be.
Okay, that's still again, that's not your policy, so that's fine. I'll make a complaint to your chief constable. That's not a problem. Actually, I'll probably go straight through the IOPC because otherwise it goes to your local PSD and gets kicked down and disregarded.
That's not a problem.
Yeah, no worries. Okay, a nice picture of your face as well, so I can just make sure that goes to the right person.
Yeah, no problem.
Is there anything else I can help you with today, sir?
No, like I said, you know, obviously, I've made the issue of that window and I've made that aware.
Which I'm literally going to go speak to my inspector.
Yeah, and that's fantastic. Obviously, if I were to say to come back in half an hour and I walk back and that window's open again, you're now willfully and negligently disregarding data protection, and that's fantastic. So, you know, I've been to places where they close it because I'm there, and then I come back at like 10, 15 minutes, half hour late, and they just reopened it because they think I've gone. And that's not the point of what I'm
Here's where the conversation becomes genuinely constructive. The focus shifts from confrontation to problem solving, and the auditor demonstrates a strong understanding of data protection responsibilities. Importantly, he makes it clear that the onus lies with the organization, not the passerby, to secure sensitive information. The officer listens, acknowledges the issue, and even accepts feedback about signage and site security. This is community engagement done right. There's no defensiveness, no dismissal, just recognition that systems can fail and improvements matter.
And all of that, but it's planning permission and all of that. So unfortunately we have to work with what we have.
Yeah, yeah.
Just hope people, members of the public, would be, understanding of that.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, just thinking of your police cars and that, it's a local force just trying to come and have a look around really and see where the local money's going.
Yeah.
And,
definitely not, yeah, mate.
Definitely not here, apparently. Well, thank you you've been very lovely and professional. I appreciate that. So you've told me you're recording, Have you been recording?
I am recording, yeah.
You are recording. So again, same issue that I raised with him. Is there a reason you haven't notified me of that? Is there?
Because it's not necessary.
No.
They're all three of
recording. No. You told me that you're recording. You didn't say we're all recording you. You told me that you're recording. That's your responsibility. It's his responsibility to let me know that he's recording me.
It's not necessary.
It is necessary. Would you like to refer to the College of Policing guidance? Because
no, we're fine. Thank you.
No, you're fine, exactly. Because you're not interested in you're not interested in actually learning what your policies are and adhering to them, are you?
No,
you're just one of those tyrants that just wants to go around and do what you want to do, ignore your policies.
Not a problem. I've just
No, that's
told
fine.
you that
That's fine. I'm not interested in talking to you. I'll rather talk to your colleagues. You're just a bit of a tyrant, and I have no interest in talking to you. Yep.
This is the turning point. The auditor offers the officer one final opportunity to comply with identification policy, and the refusal is explicit. This isn't confusion anymore, it's defiance. Accountability in policing is individual, not collective. The compliance of colleagues does not absolve anyone of their personal duty. At this stage, the original issue becomes secondary. The refusal itself becomes the story. It undermines the professionalism displayed earlier and erodes any trust that had been built. What should have ended minutes ago now escalates into a formal complaint scenario. Entirely avoidable, entirely unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're not going to follow your policies on your guidance and you have no interest in learning them, because I can refer you to the guidance in which it tells you about your body-worn cameras, in which it tells you about identifying yourself. But again, you have no interest in it, so what's the point in talking to you any further? But yeah, again, thank you. You've been very professional. Straight away identified yourself, told me that you're recording a little bit later than I would have liked, but...
Sorry, yeah, I was my colleague spoke to me.
Yeah, exactly.
So
you weren't the one directly engaging with me. I was talking to him, so I understand that, but he had every opportunity.
That's fine. Like I said, I'm going to go back and speak to my inspector about authorised personnel signs, even if we can do that.
Like again, not everybody's going to respect those signs, but at least then you've got the footing of you've been notified of trespassing before you've entered the site, you know.
We want the public to be able to come and ask us for help. That's what we're here for.
To
help them in their times of stress and everything like that. We don't want to be unwelcoming either.
No, of course. Like I said to your colleagues when they first came out, the non-uniform, you've got a sign on that door which is clearly for public information that says, if the office is closed, call.
Emotions peak here, and while the auditor's language is undeniably strong, it reflects a frustration many members of the public recognize. Transparency has been requested repeatedly and repeatedly denied. When officers appear uninterested in their own policies, public confidence collapses fast. What's more troubling is how dismissive responses from authority figures can feel intimidating, even when no explicit threat is made. Policing isn't just about enforcing law. It's about maintaining legitimacy. Every interaction either reinforces or erodes that legitimacy. In this moment, escalation didn't come from aggression. It came from indifference.
Try to do harm to the police. They don't like the police, you know what I mean? Anti-police, they try, we've had screws put by the boot tyres and things like that. So that's why they were just checking to make sure.
And obviously, I'm sure you've got CCTV around, a sign saying you had and that. And obviously, I'm walking around, my face is uncovered. I'm not making any efforts to hide myself. I'm not trying to be covert. Otherwise I wouldn't have made myself apparent to the person in the window. I would have, if I had nefarious intent with that information, I would have stood there and filmed it for as long as I could before I got noticed and not said anything. That would have been, if I had nefarious intent with it.
I can see that. I think it's just, pointed out a thing. Thank you very much. I'm going to go speak to my inspector now.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
I'm hoping that you're not going to like have any nefarious things about putting spikes or anything
like
that.
If I was, I'm on your body cameras. My face is quite clear. Like, I don't think it would be difficult.
But I'm just saying, you know what I mean.
To figure it out.
We're going to go back. We're going to leave you to it.
Yeah. No, I fully appreciate it. Again, I'm not the anti-police. I'm anti-police like that who don't want to follow policies and think they're above doing what they're supposed to do. But you've been fantastic, and
it's people's experiences, isn't it?
Yeah, but as constables, you should approach every situation independently, shouldn't you? Really,
it is hard because we're human beings.
I know, I get that, but you're held to a much higher standard because of the job role that you take on. You know, you take an oath to the crown of this country, and we expect you to live your life to that.
Members of the public, harm us, punch us every day.
Yeah, sure, but but then we say as members of the public we have police officers that want to do that to us, and it does happen. You can't deny that it does.
I'm not saying that's what I'm saying.
So we have the same thing.
We generalise.
Yeah. Again, but I will give everybody their fair dues. Like I've had a polite conversation with you, and I've told you thank you for doing your job as you're supposed to do, following your policies, and I will give everybody their fair dues, and that's what we expect from the police as well. You know, we expect that two-way street. At the end of the day,
we do try
the confidence in policing in this country is plummeting, and we're trying to build. You know, we like to try and build the bridges rather than tear them down. But we don't want people that. You know, if he's not willing to follow simple policies, how can we expect him to follow the ones that actually are way more serious? You know, it starts with the basic level, and that's what it's like. School uniform. If you can't be bothered to do your school uniform, how can you wear your uniform at work? They don't expect that. It's an indicator of you're not going to be bothered to do your job properly or learn properly, and that's what it's about. If you can't follow your basic policies, how on earth can we have the confidence in you to do your job when it really matters? And that's the kind of people that we don't want in our police forces. Is people that, if they can't follow the simple stuff, how can we trust them to do anything more serious when they've got powers that can demolish people's lives? You know,
and support people.
Yeah.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, you know, your powers can do great things, but they can also do very dangerous things. You know, and if we can't trust you to use them properly, that's scary.
Okay, dokie. Well, we're gonna. Like I said, I would have loved to have your first name.
Yeah, I know you would.
Be after your pink, I think, shirt or something.
Probably. Or my cologne, maybe. But yeah, no worries. Well, thank you for your time, and I appreciate your professionality.
Thank you.
This encounter leaves us with a clear takeaway. Accountability isn't an obstacle to policing. It is the foundation of it. We saw, in real time, how professionalism, transparency, and policy adherence can instantly defuse tension, and how refusal to comply with the same standards can escalate a routine interaction into a formal complaint. One officer demonstrated best practice, another undermined it. And that contrast tells the entire story. If you found this case as revealing as we did, hit that like button, share your thoughts in the comments, especially on where you think accountability should draw the line. And don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth, no-nonsense breakdowns of real-world encounters just like this.